All right. Well, welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. I'm Carol Livingston, the owner of Dynamics Connections and your host of ISV Talks. And on this episode, I have Danny Posey from Paystand. Welcome, Danny.
Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. So, Danny, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us how long you've been with Paystand.
Yeah, so I've been with Paystand for about 3 years now. It was my first job out of college, and I started in the sales development side of the house for the first couple years, and eventually moved my way into the partner channel. So I'm now managing our Acumatica and Microsoft partner relationships and have been in the Acumatica channel for about a year now. So kind of a new kid on the block, but I love meeting new people and relationships, and I'm learning to apply that to my work and this channel. So I'm really excited to embed more in this community and understand what's important to Acumatica end users and the partner channel and really drive home the value of Paystand and how we're helping Acumatica merchants with revenue collection. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
of
So, Danny, I know you're working with both Microsoft and Acumatica, but today I know we're going to kind of focus on the Acumatica community. So, maybe to start with, just to introduce to the Acumatica community, how did Paystand get started? Kind of what's a little bit about the Paystand history?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our CEO, Jeremy Almond, he cares a lot about financial decentralization, and that interest came from his life experience after having lived through a devastating period during the 2008 financial crisis. And I think he
Mhm.
realized that there were significant inefficiencies in the credit card model and in traditional payment processes, particularly in how businesses handle invoicing and payment collections. He felt that credit card companies have too much power and they're taking a piece of the pie of a business's hard-earned money. Unfortunately, today, that's kind of seen as the cost of doing business, which is why Paystand has built the only free B2B payment network in the market today, really to, and he likes to say, drive radically better economics for your business. So Paystand was born in 2013 with the idea to break the expectation that as a business grows their revenue, the more their costs to receive that revenue also grows. So we wanted to create a better way for merchants not to be penalized for growth. So that's really the
Great.
story and why we're doing things different from traditional payment companies in the space. So Paystand's really helping change that payer behavior and offer a way for B2B transactions to happen at zero cost. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool model.
Yeah, it really is unique. I know when I talk with partners about Paystand, it is a very unique model versus kind of traditional credit card transaction fees and so forth. Sort of that whole
Right.
concept of a bank network is kind of new to partners in that
Yeah,
B2B
definitely
environment.
new. Definitely a lot of conversations around understanding why we do things differently. Yeah.
So I kind of could you go over the basic description of the solutions you have for Acumatica and kind of what are your unique features?
So overall, Paystand is an all-in-one accounts receivable automation and B2B payment solution that integrates natively with Acumatica. We all know that AR is a really crowded space, but I'd say the three main differentiators of our solution consist of a few concepts. So that first concept is getting your revenue in the door as quickly as possible. So by offering click-to-pay links on invoices, offering more digital payment options, enrolling your payers in auto pay or collections plans, we can really help you speed up that time to cash and get those payments in the door faster. So that's kind of the concept number one. Number two is that second concept is fee mitigation. So typically when a merchant is trying to present a credit card fee to their payer, you want to have an alternative option. That way they're not reverting back to a check because that slows down your revenue collection and increases your day sales outstanding or DSO. And it also requires merchants to do that manual reconciliation on the back end. So
Right.
Paystand really is the only AR solution in the market today that is actively trying to move your payers away from credit cards onto our free network. For credit card payments, we encourage our customers to pass a convenience fee to their payers if they choose to pay by credit card. But the cool thing is if they don't want to pay that fee, they have our free B2B payment network option to use instead. So you have these kind of different levers you can pull to drive the profitability of your company and a way for them to mitigate fees without kind of burdening your payers with them. And then that third concept is our automation that happens downstream of invoice creation. So we like to
Mhm.
say Paystand picks up the baton at invoice creation, then we automate both the cash application as well as the deposit reconciliation, while traditional AR solutions end their process after the cash is applied. So deposit reconciliations are another really painful manual process in the cash cycle. So our customers love when we mention we can automate that portion too.
My
This is
gosh.
all,
Yeah.
yeah, this is all super high level, but I'd say that those are the three main features that differentiate us from traditional solutions in the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, I mean, just a kind of a personal aside, I did recently get to use the Paystand network and to
Mhm.
pay for a sponsorship. And I thought it was super cool. I got an invoice with a link to pay. I had different choices. If I wanted to pay the fee, I could, or I
Yeah,
could join the bank network. And it was really clean, easy to use. And I'm sure it makes it a lot easier to pay. People are going to pay you faster, right?
yeah. Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, make it as frictionless to pay as possible and have a good experience for the payers so they are willing to make a payment faster and just
Yeah.
help that business out by getting their cash in the door faster.
Yeah. And by the way, maybe they should get it too, right? If they're a business
Yeah,
themselves.
absolutely. If they use us, they sell us off. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Oh,
I'm really glad you had a chance to use the payment
yeah.
experience.
It was really
Hopefully,
fun. So I know we're going to talk about Acumatica today, but what other ERP products are you compatible with?
yeah, so we started in the NetSuite ecosystem in 2018. From there, we dove into the Sage world, so Sage Intact, and we've been in the Sage ecosystem for about 3 years now. After that, we entered into Microsoft Business Central in 2022, and then about a year ago, we launched our Acumatica integration. So again, we are newer in Acumatica, but not really new at what we do. And at the end of the day, it's the same technology as well, and it's all driven by our network and the features and functionality that we offer. So yeah, we're across several ecosystems, and it's been a journey through all of them. So Acumatica is just getting started, but we're really excited to be a part of the community.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So somebody might have heard of Paysan if they've been in that Intact space or NetSuite. So yeah, I
Mhm.
like that you're not new, but
Yeah.
you're new to this Acumatica and Dynamics. So that's kind of changing gears, Danny. So how have you seen the channel change this past couple of years, especially with there's a lot of challenges on the economy and customers and partners are trying to be efficient. Tell us a little bit about what changes you've seen.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned before, I am relatively newer in this channel, but I'd say that payments are changing and the technology buying process is always changing. And
Yeah.
ERP functionality is improving always while ISVs like Paystand add a lot of value and bridge a lot of those gaps that ERPs can't offer. So there's so much that can be uncovered and solved through having partnerships with third-party integrations. And we're seeing a lot with other ERP ecosystems. They're moving into Informatica, and there's probably several reasons for that, but I'm sure it's because it's a strong partner ecosystem. They're really client-centric. It's a really
Right.
robust and awesome tool. And we're seeing more and more partners picking up Acumatica, and many of them we're already working with in their other ERP
Mhm.
ecosystems. So it's great for that ever-growing partnership and serving their entire client base. So that's really cool. I'd say Acumatica is also releasing a lot more functionality and they have a ton of vertical expertise. They're really
Yes.
focused on manufacturing, distribution, construction,
Mhm.
retail, all those great verticals. So these are great vertical fits for Paystand. So that makes us gel really well with this ecosystem. So
And one thing I'll say about kind of back to your comment about the partners and the channel, we are seeing other partners coming from other ecosystems into the Acumatica space. So it's great to have them because Acumatica is working through their partner channel to help customers. So it definitely is a good partnership between Acumatica, the software publisher, and the partner community.
yeah, I think it's cool too when, I mean, every community is kind of different in these ecosystems, but when we
Yeah.
can kind of mesh them together, there's a lot of cool ideas and innovation that can happen through kind of meshing the communities together. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of the same challenges are probably everywhere. Everyone needs to get paid faster, lower their cost.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
that. Yeah. So tell us a story about a customer, maybe a scenario or success story of where a customer was successful using your products and why.
Yeah, I was thinking of two stories that I have, two completely different use cases, but We have a customer in the agriculture industry and they sell seeds to farmers. A lot of their customer base wasn't super tech savvy and they relied on legacy payment systems, so credit card and legacy. Initially, the merchant wasn't expecting a ton of adoption, but was looking to offer digital payment options to their customer. What they saw year one was a 60% adoption away from paper checks onto digital payments. And by leveraging convenience fees, it helped their transaction costs lower while significantly driving down their DSO. So that adoption, I think, within year one in this industry is pretty incredible. So I love this story. I think if the agriculture industry can see adoption from their payer base, so can any industry. So
Yeah.
that's a really cool story, and I love to tell that one to our partners. But I'd say the other story I was thinking of, they were they were doing 84 million in credit card and absorbing just under 3 million in credit card fees. They
Wow.
decided to take kind of a significant absorption of fees per year. So
Mhm.
they took a phased approach rolling it out to their customers. They started rolling out convenience fees really slowly. They didn't get any pushback on those convenience fees, and so they flipped the
Okay.
switch to pass it off across their entire customer base 6 months in because everything was going so well. So within 5 months of flipping that switch, they saved $1.2 million. So yeah, that's a lot of money. So
Oh,
it's a really compelling story, and it's really how we're kind of flipping the model on its head. So two very different use cases that really kind of show what Paystand can help businesses achieve if they believe in our model. So
yeah. And just to kind of reiterate, and so how does Paysan get paid for this kind of zero cost
yeah.
platform?
Yeah, that's a common question. Like, how do you guys make your money? So we
Yeah.
make our money off of fixed monthly subscription cost. So
Okay.
we're trying to create that predictable spend where year over year, exactly how much it's going to cost you to collect AR. So ideally, that would be the Paystand subscription costs and then whoever's on your accounting team. So we really try and create that predictable operating expense through that subscription-based
Yeah.
model. And you find that we're a little higher than traditional payment providers, but it's really because we're driving payers away from transaction costs and applying
Okay.
really robust automation to your cash cycle. So there's
Yeah.
quite a few varying things that go into our pricing model, but yeah, some
Okay.
monthly subscription costs is how we
So
make money.
So it's a subscription cost. They kind of have that payment as a service model or subscription model, which is I really love that. It makes it easy to figure out what's going to cost this year's budget, right? You're not
Yeah.
getting penalized because you're growing and having higher transactions. Now, the other question I had for you, and I know it's probably a little bit off our list, but how do you get the customer or the vendors and customers to use the platform? Do you guys help with like onboarding those vendors, and how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So after 100 days, our customers receive a dedicated customer success manager where they kind of help you on that journey to moving your payers toward if they're taking a ton of paper checks, they're helping those payers adopt digital payment methods. And so they kind of help you along through that journey. So that is definitely a big value add to what we bring to our customers is you're not calling into a support line. You have someone dedicated to your business and helping you on that journey to the cloud. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
awesome.
where other value comes in from Paystand.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you can get get customers kind of onboarded and get their ecosystem, their vendors and their payers on board and their customers.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some of the new things you're looking to introduce to add value as customers are moving to the cloud?
Yeah, so we're about to celebrate a year of being available for Acumatica, so it's really exciting. And when we find when we work with Acumatica partners early in the buying cycle, we can help customers in their ERP migration from, say, QuickBooks to Acumatica. We can help them through the savings that we can bring to our customers. So think again about that fee mitigation because we're able to unlock budget for them to put back into those projects with their partner, or it can make that purchase of an ERP a lot easier of a conversation with that those funds that we're able to kind of liberate for that customer. So I think that is a bit of value we can bring along in that journey. In terms of product features and functionality we're working to release, we'll have new announcements coming up at Summit in January. So can't really talk about those features now, but we're really excited to show everyone when we see everybody at Summit. But I'd say it's also worth noting that with Acumatica's recent announcement of them no longer supporting authorized.net, there's going to be an increase in the demand for payment solutions in the space, so we can, of course, be there to support as well. So I'd
Yeah,
say
good
that's how we're
point.
kind of helping them move along through that journey.
Okay. I can't wait to hear about some of the new things you're going to be introducing. I guess, how do you determine? I know Acumatica offers kind of out of the box payment solution, but how do you, when that's on, like, you really need a pay stand solution?
Yeah, I'd say any business that has back office billing, back office invoicing to their B2B customers, there's often a lot of pain that's typically surrounding this process. So that pain is typically around cash flow and collections management, transaction fees. So if a merchant wants to use
Yeah.
convenience fees versus surcharges, for example. So the way we're able to call it a convenience fee is because we're offering a free alternative option for them to pay. A convenience fee is legal in all 50 states, while surcharging is not legal in every state. So again, it's talking
Yeah.
about giving the merchant those levers to drive their profitability. We're finding a lot of QuickBooks Online customers moving to Acumatica, and they typically already have a Pay Now link on their invoices, so they expect to have that in Acumatica, but there's a gap there. So
Yeah.
we're here to fill those gaps and help our partners be more successful in mapping out that ERP journey for that customer. So
Yeah.
I'd say that's kind of
Definitely nice to have options too, right? Maybe the out of the box doesn't make it for far enough, or doesn't have the complete cash invoice to cash cycle covered. So there's definitely things to consider. So, okay, good. Well, any perspective you have to share about the marketplace, really how customers are trying to improve their operational efficiency?
yeah, I'd say the cost of running a business is increasing every day. We're all seeing that. Buyers want to lower their cost to
Yeah.
operate. They want to put automation tools in place to reduce manual labor and keep their teams lean. And the buyer's behavior is changing and they're slowly wanting to move towards kind of how we transact in the peer-to-peer world. I think businesses want to and should be focused on improving cash flow, and a lot of times they don't even realize what it's costing them to collect revenue. And once we uncover that pain point, they realize
Yeah.
they need to do something different. So a lot of businesses' payment issues could just be solved by offering customers more payment options, for example. So I'd say we're really helping them improve that efficiency through uncovering these types of pains that a lot of businesses don't even realize that they have.
Yeah, sometimes the businesses don't they're like, "Oh, I have a way to handle that." But then when you kind of point out the cost or the savings that they could realize, it might be kind of a surprise to them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're uncovering stuff like that in our discovery
Yeah,
calls and these conversations we're having with
I
our
bet.
merchants. So it's pretty cool when we can get them to realize that there is a lot that can be improved, and this is how we can help you guys improve that process.
And I think with the concerns that people have about inflation and just like thin margins, maybe costs are increasing everywhere, right? So you got to find ways to save money and to
Yeah.
reduce those fees that aren't necessary, right?
That's
So
absolutely top of mind for, I'd say, any business, especially in these crazy times that we're living in. So, yeah, definitely.
sure, absolutely. Well, Danny, in conclusion, I'd like to ask you one last question here. So, what's one trend that you're seeing that's driving customers or partners to come talk to Paystand?
And like I mentioned before, merchants are really focused on being extremely efficient and improving their cash flow, keeping their teams really lean. So they're looking to automate really manual work and
Yeah.
reduce costs overall in any way they can. And so I think our model absolutely drives all of those ideas home. We're uncovering these real ROIs for our merchants, and our partners see that we're bringing that value for their clients. So I think in terms of a business wanting to reduce their cost to collect revenue and move their payers off paper checks and really just
Mhm.
modernize the way you're collecting payments, I think that's kind of what is driving customers and partners to come to Paystand.
Right. Well, thank you, Danny, for being part of ISV Talks today. It was fun to have you.
Thank you so much, Carol. This was really fun. I'm super happy I was able to do this with you. I have a lot of contact information up here if anyone wants to reach out, maybe schedule a demo, learn more about our tool and a little bit more about what we're doing here at Paystand. There is a QR code here for you to scan, take you to our website. My phone number is here as well. Feel free to give me a call, text if you have any questions. My email is here as well. But yeah, I really appreciate being here and thank you so much, Carol.
Thank you. So, Dan, you want to spell out your email?
My email is dhosea stand.com, dhosea@paystand.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, friends, thank you for joining me and Danny on this conversation today about how businesses can improve their operational processes and lower costs too, which is awesome. We'll see you guys on the next episode of ISV Talks. Thank you.
Thank you.